All right, here is an email I'm going to share with everyone. And this isn't specifically about any topic, hunting or fishing or outdoor topic or even Sasquatch topic, sort of. But this man emailed me directly due to my interest in our sixth sense, your intuition, and how I am very interested in that topic because I am convinced personally that our intuition, our natural skills with it have been intentionally suppressed. I just have a funny feeling. That's the way. I think a lot of things have been suppressed in us due to our education system starting at a young age. But whatever, that's a whole different topic. That's just something that I've been tossing around with and looking into now and then when I have time. But I just returned home. I had to go away for a few days, work-related items. I always, you know what? I never leave home without at least 2 or 3 video cameras, a large Canon camera, and zoom lens. I just don't leave without them. So every time I get a chance, I'll stop and I'll record or photograph some scenes or some wildlife that I see along the way so I can share it later. So I'll drop this. I have to share this email from inside right now. So while I recite this email, this interesting email, I'm as well going to play back some of the sites that I recorded near home from the time I left home to the time I got home again the last few days. And hopefully it should be interesting to some. Another heads up, I am entering a very, very busy time of life right now. And for all you who may or may not have known, I've been a contractor for numerous years. I'm kind of completely tapering out of it. The last couple jobs are more favors for builder friends of mine. But I have to go away for 3 more days, I think, in 2 days, and then I'm done, and then I get back to my mountain life. But in the meantime, what I intend to do starting tomorrow morning, we're going to do a bit of a marathon. So we're going to pre-record possibly 10 emails that have been sent in to me that you will all find very interesting. I'm going to pre-record them, preload them onto the channel so that they launch for all of you to observe every couple days to keep the momentum going as I get some very, very important things done, which I have been not getting done, and make plans and organize stuff that's coming in the future. And as well as, some of the other topics that I've taken on and some of the goals that I've set to inform you of many various items, especially when it comes to the Sasquatch topic. That takes a lot of time, man. It just takes a lot of time and a lot of perseverance and a lot of no quit. And for a side note, for a lot of you people who might find yourselves impatient, you can do exactly what I'm doing. We're all equal. You can do what I'm doing. So if it's your curiosity drives you, or you have a drive to annihilate bullshit, which I do, and find out and share the truth to all the good people, you can do exactly what I'm doing as well. So I encourage all of you to do that. And you probably picked up on that anyways, because I've been encouraging all of you to think for yourselves since day one. And I'll be giving you clues of who to and who not to listen to, and information and facts to take in and add to your own stockpile of knowledge. Here we go. Listen to this. This is an email from a police officer about our intuition, our sixth sense, and I have a big interest in that topic. But here we go. Are you ready? Dear Steve, I found your site about a month ago, and believe me, it has helped me get through this coronavirus isolation. A bit of background. I'm 72 years old, a lifelong hunter and fisherman. I'm a college graduate with majors in geology, geography, and biology. After graduating in 1970, I moved to the Pacific Northwest and saw an employment flyer for a large law enforcement agency that required a bachelor's degree as a requirement for employment. The pay listed was very, very good, and I thought, hey, what the heck, let's give it a try. I applied, and I was selected, one of 13 out of 1,100 applicants to join the group of new hires. I'd never even thought about police work as a career choice before I saw that flyer and applied. The department was very progressive and encouraged initiative and self-starters who didn't require a lot of supervision. My career was awesome, and I was invited to join top law enforcement agency in the country based upon a number of high-profile cases I had got dropped into. I wasn't a great cop because I had a lot of training or because I was strict by-the-book guy. It just seemed to always be in the right place at the right time, and I let my intuitive instincts and sixth sense run my life. My dad was very much this way. I had literally dozens of times that had either saved my life or got me in the midst of situations that wound up getting me accolades for good work. One of my supervisors told me, T-Bone, my nickname, I've never seen anyone who falls into barrels of shit like you do, and you always come out smelling like a rose. This was a gift, not anything I learned. I just paid attention to it. I would liken it to this. We are taught to think in a linear manner, point A to point B to point C, etc., etc. I found many times I was dropped into a situation at both point A and point E became evident to me. However, I don't know. But inevitably, it seemed to work out. One case was when I was a new detective and got called to assist 2 homicide detectives at a crime scene. After 5 minutes on the scene of a commercial burglary where one of the owners was bludgeoned to death, I knew that the partner who had reported the crime was guilty. I just knew that. I just knew that I knew that I knew. No evidence, and he had an airtight alibi. The senior guys scoffed and let it go. I was just a fanoogie. Bracket, effing new guy. So a fanoogie is effing new guy. It remained unsolved and was picked up 10 years later as a cold case. The new guys heard from a prison snitch about an inmate bragging about killing a guy during a burglary staged by his partner as a hit to cover embezzlement. Both guys were convicted. I had my dad riding along a patrol one night, and an armed robbery with shots fired went down. It was about 10 miles from where we were, and since it wasn't my call, I headed in the opposite direction as I got a very clear picture in my mind of a convenience store in my district. As I drove up, I saw a car matching the description pulling into the parking lot of a business nearby. I told my dad, that's the car from the robbery. At any rate, they made me and drove away into a residential neighborhood, and I called for cover. The crooks pulled into a cul-de-sac, and I blocked them in as cover raced to help me. I grabbed my shotgun and told them to throw the keys out while I remained behind my driver's door. I told my dad to run into the darkness between 2 houses if the shooting started. When cover arrived, we did the full felony removal and came up with the gun, the money, and got the store clerks down for an ID. After the whole thing was finished, my dad asked, how did you know what was going on? I could only answer, I don't know. I just knew it was going to happen. Anyway, I have dozens of stories like that where I knew that I knew that I knew, but couldn't tie anything together without anything factual. Something just wasn't right. Getting back to one of your videos about the 2 coastal brown bears where your client didn't get the shot placed right and you crawled over a log and had the bear in your face and everything going sideways in a second and you reacted and ended the situation quickly and efficiently. I was involved in a deadly encounter in a tavern where I had to shoot a guy. It went down in the space of about 3 seconds when a prison escapee, who had been spotted by a colleague a few minutes earlier, jumped off a bar stool and brought out a gun from his pocket as 2 officers approached to arrest him. I had only a second to evaluate whether there was justification, and I dumped him. Snap your fingers 3 times, and it was over that fast. In my mind, it was like 20 seconds. Time slowed to a crawl. The adrenaline dump came shortly thereafter, and believe me, it was no fun. All told, I would have been justified in using deadly force 7 times in my career. 6 were successfully handled with no gunplay. You rely on instincts, training, and experience, and you survive to go home for another night. While I've never had a personal Sasquatch encounter, I believe in them, and have really enjoyed how you approach the subject. In the past few years, I never go in the woods without a GPS, a spot satellite locator device, bear spray, and bare minimum, my 9mm SIG. As a retired law officer, I can carry a conceal, and always do so. The most dangerous animal out there walks on his or her hind legs, and the bad ones are always hunting for the weak and the vulnerable. When I taught survival skills at the police academy, I emphasized that situational awareness is a best skill to develop. When camping, I carry a tactical 12 gauge with slugs and number 3 buck alternating. I've had a few long treks after dark, after deer and elk hunting, and always use the GPS to get back to the rig. I hunt in grizzly wolf and lion country. I have had a few moments where I was on alert, but making noise seems to calm things down. I had a friend who was followed by a pack of wolves one day while elk hunting. He was in fresh snow, and he returned the next day and counted 6 tracks in his. His rifle only had 4-round capacity and no backup. He knows better now. Anyway, love your channel. If I had the cash and legs I used to, I'd book a hunt with you. My dream was always to get a wall hanger ram or a Yukon moose. Those days were in the rearview mirror, and a nice cow elk, mule deer, whitetail is sufficient to fill the freezer. keep on watching out for the little guys. All right. And thank you very much for that email. I absolutely appreciate it. I appreciate all the service that you gave to your community and all the good people out there. You are very, very appreciated. Thanks again. And it's funny you mentioned the 12 gauge slugs and buck. I do the exact same thing when I don't require a rifle for guiding, or possibly I'm hiking into an area where I know there's a high risk, etc. That is the number one, is having alternate the slugs with the buckshot. It's the number one stopper of grizzly bears, as well as the 12 gauge slug. So that's a good point to make. But what a handful of intuition examples that was. And I'm sure there's a pile of you out there that can relate to that. And you got to agree with me, wouldn't it be absolutely freaking awesome if we knew how to absolutely manipulate and enhance our intuition, our sixth sense, and use it upon, anytime we feel like it, we can tap into it and direct it and use it. That'd be pretty freaking cool. Since I've mentioned that a few times, a lot of people have emailed me offering up instruction on how to do that, and I will look into those emails a little closer when I have time, because unfortunately I just don't have the time to take that on this particular week or a couple weeks, but I will have soon. So anyway, I hope all of you found that email as interesting as I did, and I hope that all of you start to focus more on making your life decisions, your daily decisions, on your intuition, because once you can tap into that and recognize it and trust it, believe me, you will win. You will win straight across the board when you start letting your intuition steer you and guide you through life. It is the key move. I swear on my frickin' existence, it's true. But anyway, there you go. There's a good one for today. And tomorrow, we'll be out bright and early, feed the horses, and then we're going to head into the mountains and do some filming and do up a full-on email marathon to deliver to all of you and share it with you. Well, I get all these other things done. I got so much done. I'm stubborn in a way. I finally buckled down, and I hired some people to help with my website and everything else that I got on the go, which has been a need for a while. And we're going to absolutely do a re on everything, and I'll get my store. I had an online store on my website a long time before this YouTube thing took off, just for all of our hunting and our angling fans, and we'll get that going again due to popular demand. It's just another one of those things, just hadn't had time for it, but we're going to make time here shortly. But anyway, there you go. Hope you enjoyed the backdrop video clips that I took those last few days, and there will be more to come to share shortly.